One of the key skills of the scientist is the ability to evaluate evidence. And on this band, we want you to evaluate a number of short sequences of video evidence. The hypothesis we want you to test is that the air, although invisible, actually has substance. Take this clip, for instance, of people parachuting. What proof does this provide, if any? I'd say it was pretty conclusive. Once the parachutes open, the people fall more slowly, indicating that something, presumably the air, is being caught inside the open canopies. What we want you to do is to look at 7 short sequences which may or may not provide evidence. After each sequence, I want you to stop the tape and write down in your study file whether you think it proves that the air has substance or not. Then I want you to write down how you reach that conclusion. Now that you've watched the sequences, I hope you can appreciate some of the problems associated with investigating things you cannot see. Whilst some of the demonstrations clearly showed that the air did have substance, and others seemed to provide no evidence, there were some demonstrations which were not so clear-cut. We weren't sure whether they provided evidence or not. So let's look at each of these sequences in turn. This sequence shows objects moving as a result of the wind. Clearly there must be some substance to the moving air which blows the objects along. You met this experiment in Activity 5.1. There you learnt that the energy was transferred from the bulb to the metal sheets by electromagnetic radiation. At the moment, you probably don't know enough about how electromagnetic radiation is transmitted to decide whether or not this indicates that the air has substance. In fact, it's irrelevant. The panting athlete suggests that we need to take something into our bodies from the air. This indicates that the air is not empty space, but contains something that is necessary for life. This is confirmed by the fact that divers need to take air with them in tanks when they go underwater. When the tyre was inflated, it took up a new shape, and the air pumped into the tyre pushed against the walls of the inner tube and made it expand. This again indicates that the air has substance. When the substance came in contact with the water, it exploded. This says nothing about the air, since the explosion only seemed to depend on the substance being in contact with the water. The mass of the bottle before and after pumping was different. After the bottle was pumped up, its mass seemed to be greater. This means that on pumping, we were adding more air, and this air had mass. Finally, the birds are taking off from the ground by flapping their wings, and by flapping against the air, they can remain airborne or hover in mid-air. This again provides positive evidence for the hypothesis.